We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let's begin. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. If I had known, I would have walked out before it ever reached my ears. But the truth has a way of finding you when you least expect it. I was in the kitchen clearing the dishes after a dinner gathering, a routine I had grown used to. My wife, Emma, had invited her friends and family over, people she always seemed more at ease with than she ever was with me. Laughter spilled from the living room. Loud and exclusive, like an inside joke I wasn't part of. Then I heard it, her voice, light and casual. "He can't please anyone." The words landed like a slap, burning in their simplicity. It wasn't just what she said, but how she said it, like it was some well-known fact, something everyone in that room silently agreed on. Laughter followed, genuine and shared. I froze. My grip on the edge of the sink tightened. My heart pounded in my ears as I waited for her to take it back. To say it was just a joke. To soften the blow. But she didn't. She just kept talking, moving on as if her words hadn't just shattered something inside me. At first, I didn't feel anger. No, the first thing I felt was humiliation. A deep, searing humiliation that made my skin burn. It wasn't just her words. It was the laughter. The way they all agreed. I had never measured up in her eyes, had I? And now I realized she had never even hidden it. I had been her joke. The worst part, this wasn't new. I started thinking back. Her sarcastic remarks, the eye rolls, the sighs of disappointment when I didn't get things exactly right. The way she'd vent about me to her friends, never quite cruel, but always cutting. The way she looked at me like I was less. I'd spent years bending over backward trying to be enough. But that night, something inside me snapped. I wasn't going to argue. I wasn't going to demand an apology. That would be the old me. The one desperate to fix things, to smooth things over. This time, I just decided I was done. Emma went to bed that night as if nothing had happened. Her body curled away from mine. But I lay there staring at the ceiling, my mind replaying everything I had ignored for years. I remembered our anniversary last year. I had planned a weekend trip, booked a cabin, made dinner reservations. She had sighed unimpressed. "You really thought I'd like this?" I remember cooking dinner once, excited to surprise her. She took a bite, wrinkled her nose, and wordlessly pushed the plate away. I remember dressing up for a rare date night, putting in effort for once. She took one glance at me and scoffed, "That's what you're wearing." One moment bled into the next, an endless reel of me not being enough. But why had I accepted it for so long? Because I had believed her love was something to earn. That if I just did more was better, she'd finally see me the way I saw her. But I understood something that night. It had never been about what I was doing wrong. It was about the fact that nothing I did would ever be enough for her. That's when the realization hit me. Emma didn't just look down on me. She resented me and I needed to find out why. The shift in me started subtly. The next morning, I didn't ask if she wanted coffee. Normally, I'd pour her a cup the way I always had, but this time I didn't. She paused, waiting while I didn't offer. She huffed and made her own. It was small, but it was the first crack in the dam. That day, I didn't rush to run errands for her. When she asked me to pick up something from the store, I simply said, "I can't. I have things to do." She blinked, unprepared for a no. "You can't. No, not today." The scoff, the muttered insult under her breath. It didn't affect me this time, but something deeper gnawed at me. Something worse. Why was she this way? If she resented me so much, why was she still here? That's when I made a decision. I needed the truth. And so that night, while she slept, I did something I had never done before. I checked her phone. I knew I shouldn't, but my gut had been screaming at me for too long. The texts were easy to find. "Emma, he doesn't even try anymore. He just exists like a shadow in my house. Unknown number. Because you're too afraid to leave him, but we both know where you really want to be. Emma, God, I miss you. You know that, right? Unknown number. Then leave him. Emma, Soon, I promise. The world blurred. My fingers tightened around the phone. She wasn't just mocking me. She was cheating on me, and she had promised to leave me, but she hadn't because I was still useful to her. For the first time in my life, I felt something cold settle in my chest. If she thought I would just disappear quietly, she was so wrong. I spent the next 2 weeks pretending nothing had changed. I smiled. I played the role of the devoted husband. I even let her think she was still winning. But beneath the surface, I was planning every move, every step leading to one thing. Revenge. Real revenge. The kind that wouldn't just break her heart. The moment I uncovered Emma's betrayal, something inside me shifted. The pain didn't leave. It never does. But it hardened into something sharper, more calculated. I wasn't just going to walk away. No, that would be too easy. She had made me a joke, mocked me to her friends, slept with another man while pretending to be my wife. She had used me, my devotion, my efforts, my sacrifices, all for her own selfish gain. I've been a good husband, an obedient husband, but I was done playing that role. She had made a mistake, and I was going to make sure she paid for it. The first step, pretending nothing had changed. So, for the next 2 weeks, I smiled. I kissed her forehead in the mornings, asked about her day, nodded at her stories. I even brought her coffee just to keep up the illusion because Emma couldn't suspect a thing. Not until it was too late. Revenge isn't something you rush, it's something you build. The first thing I needed to do was find out everything, every little detail. Who was this mystery man? What did he mean to her? What leverage did I have over them? I started small. One night after Emma had gone to sleep, I went through her phone again. This time, I was thorough. The messages were sickening. She didn't just cheat. She loved it. She relished betraying me. Emma, God, I get such a thrill knowing you're right there in the office and I can't touch you. Unknown number soon. No more sneaking around. I want you in my bed every night. Emma, you'll have me. Just a little longer. I just have to make sure everything is in place first. Make sure everything is in place. I frowned at the message. What the hell was she planning? That's when I noticed the contact name. I had been too focused on the text before to check, but now my blood ran cold. It wasn't just some random guy. It was her boss. A man who was married. A man who had a reputation to uphold. And that changed everything. Knowing who he was gave me power. I did my research. I found out his name, Daniel Mercer, a well-respected businessman, a CEO, a family man. Except, of course, he wasn't, because behind the expensive suits and charming smile, Daniel was nothing but a cheating bastard. His wife, a socialite named Lillian Mercer, well-known in high society circles. She wasn't just rich, she was powerful. And from what I could tell, she wasn't the forgiving type. Perfect. I wasn't just going to destroy Emma. I was going to bring down both of them. I started with gathering evidence. I set up a hidden camera in our bedroom. It wasn't difficult. Emma was careless. She had no reason to suspect I knew. And she had gotten comfortable leaving her phone unattended. So, I waited. And within 3 days, I had what I needed. I had a video of her sitting in bed texting him, laughing softly to herself. I had recordings of their calls where she whispered promises of how soon she would be his. I had proof, undeniable, incriminating proof. But that wasn't enough, because I didn't just want to expose them. I wanted to crush them. Emma was still under the illusion that I was the same weak man she had married. She had no idea what was coming. I started being extra attentive. I made her favorite meals. I took her out on dates. I played the part of the doting husband perfectly, and it worked. She let her guard down. One night, she even sighed, leaning into my chest as we lay in bed. "You know, you've been different lately," she murmured. I smiled. "Good, different, or bad, different?" She paused as if she didn't know how to answer. "You're just easier to be around." "You're not so." She stopped herself. She was going to say, desperate. I almost laughed because the truth was I wasn't desperate anymore. I was done. Timing was everything. I had 3 targets. Emma, she needed to lose everything. Daniel Mercer, he needed to be exposed. Lillian Mercer, she needed to know the truth. The way I saw it, Daniel was the key. If I took him down, Emma would go down with him. So, I waited for the perfect moment. And then it arrived, a company gala. A night where all of Daniel's biggest investors and clients would be gathered in one place. I sent an anonymous email to Lillian Mercer attaching the proof of her husband's affair, and then I sat back and watched. The gala was held in an upscale venue. Emma had been excited for weeks. She spent hours getting ready, oblivious to the storm about to hit. She even turned to me before we left, adjusting her dress. How'd I look? I met her eyes in the mirror like a woman about to lose everything. You look perfect, I said. She smiled. She had no idea. The night started smoothly. Lillian Mercer hadn't arrived yet, but when she did, she didn't come quietly. She stormed in, red dress flowing like blood, fury in her eyes. The room froze. And then her voice rang out. You lying, cheating bastard. Silence. Daniel turned confused. Lillian, what? Slap. She hit him so hard the sound echoed. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Emma palled. Lillian didn't stop there. She turned, eyes locking onto my wife. And you? She sneered. You really thought you'd get away with it? Emma's eyes widened. You're nothing but a home wrecking, Lillian spat. Then she turned back to Daniel. We're done. And so is your career. Every single one of your investors is about to see what a pathetic excuse of a man you are. Daniel blanched because she wasn't lying. I had made sure of that. Every single person in the room received an email at that exact moment. An email with every single piece of evidence. There was no hiding now. And as Emma turned to me, panic in her eyes, I leaned in and whispered, You wanted a thrill, didn't you? Her lips parted. Ew. I smiled and then I walked away. Emma had always been the kind of woman who thought she was untouchable. She believed she could twist people around her finger, manipulate them, use them, and discard them when she was done. But she had never faced real consequences. Until now, the fallout from that gala was immediate and brutal. Within 24 hours, Daniel Mercer's name was everywhere. News articles, social media, business forums. The scandal spread like wildfire. The headlines were merciless. CEO of Mercer Enterprises caught in cheating scandal at high-profile gala. Infidelity exposed. Daniel Mercer's wife files for divorce after public meltdown. Mercer Enterprises stock plummets following CEO's personal controversy. I kept reading, watching, absorbing it all. The best part, Emma's name was everywhere, too. She wasn't just a woman. She was the woman. The one who had wrecked a marriage, destroyed a reputation, and betrayed her own husband. People dug into her past. The things she had said about me, the little mocking comments, the casual cruelty started resurfacing. Some of her old friends shared screenshots of texts, messages where she had mocked me, insulted me, belittled me, and the internet did what the internet does best. They tore her apart. She lost her job first. The company didn't want a scandal tied to them. Inappropriate workplace behavior. They called it, firing her with no severance pay. She lost her friends next. Some of them tried to defend her at first. But the weight of public humiliation was too much. One by one, they distanced themselves. No one wanted to be associated with the woman who had destroyed 2 marriages in a single night. And then she lost her dignity because she came crawling back to me. The first call came at 2:00 a.m. I ignored it. The second came at 6:00 a.m. I ignored that one, too. By noon, she was texting. Emma, we need to talk. Please, Emma, I didn't mean for any of this to happen. You have to believe me, Emma. You set me up, didn't you? That one made me smirk. She knew. She knew it wasn't just bad luck. She knew someone had orchestrated this. And deep down, she knew it was me, but she had no proof. By that evening, she was on my doorstep. When I opened the door, I barely recognized her. Her once perfect makeup was smudged. Her hair was a mess. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Her eyes, usually filled with arrogance and superiority, were empty. She had been shattered, and I was the one who had done it. "Jake," she whispered, her voice cracked, her lips trembling. "Please, can we just talk?" I leaned against the door frame, arms crossed. "About what?" She swallowed. "I messed up." I raised an eyebrow. "That's an understatement." Her eyes glistened with unshed tears. She never cried. Not when I had spent years trying to win her love. Not when she had mocked me, belittled me, treated me like I was nothing. But now she was falling apart. And it wasn't because she missed me. It was because she had nowhere else to go. "I lost my job," she admitted, voice barely above a whisper. "And I can't afford the apartment anymore." Ah, there it was. She wasn't here because she loved me. She was here because she needed something. A home, a lifeline, a backup plan. I let her words hang in the air, enjoying the weight of them. I wanted her to feel this moment, to understand just how far she had fallen. And then I said it, "Not my problem." Her breath hitched. "Jake, please. You should go." I kept my voice calm, controlled, completely unbothered. "You made your choice, Emma. You just didn't think you'd have to live with the consequences." Tears slipped down her cheeks now. She reached for me for the man she had betrayed, humiliated, and abandoned. I stepped back and then I delivered the final blow. "You told your friends I couldn't please anyone," I said softly. "I guess now we know who really couldn't keep anyone happy." Her face crumpled and this time I shut the door on her first. EMTT didn't just fall. She crashed. With no job, no home, and no friends, she spiraled fast. She tried reaching out to old colleagues, but none of them wanted to be associated with her. She tried applying for new jobs, but with her reputation, no one would hire her. And Daniel, he never called her again. He had moved on, fighting to salvage what was left of his life. He had lost his job, too. His investors abandoned him. His wife took everything. They were both ruined. And yet, out of the two of them, Emma had fallen the hardest because at least Daniel had money to fall back on. Emma had nothing. And I made sure of that. The day I saw Emma sleeping in her car was the day I knew I had won. She had once been so proud, so confident, so convinced that she would always be the one in control. But she wasn't in control anymore. I was. And the best part, I didn't have to do a thing. She had destroyed herself. Months passed. And then one day, I got a text. "Emma, I'm sorry." Just 2 words. No excuses, no justifications, no pleas, just regret. But it didn't matter anymore. I had moved on. For the first time in years, I was truly free. I didn't just survive Emma. I destroyed her. And she would spend the rest of her life knowing she had lost the best thing she ever had. Me. I never replied to her message. I never checked on her again. I never needed to because Emma was nothing but a ghost now. A woman who had it all and lost everything. And me, I had won. I was alive.